And what up everybody, it's Anime Junkie and welcome to part 9 to What If Deku Was a Villain. And now, let's get to the intro.
I'm not the one you wanna fuck with. Late nights messing up my sleep, so I'm flustered. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Right in front to get myself a lamb color cuts for the game. Leave him hanging by his chain. Click bang, feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feel insane. And it's slowly building flames, building fire from my brain, bringing more to no glory.
Okay guys, I just rewatched the previous part to this What If, and part 8 by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I said basically a lot. I was annoying myself while watching it or listening to it. So I'm probably not gonna say basically that much. I've already said it 2 times, but who cares? I'm not gonna say it like 100 million times like in the previous video. Anyways, so I'm just gonna give you a brief description on what I said, or everything that I basically summed up in the previous part, because I don't really want to annoy you guys with all that basically stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna summarize it for you guys. So all the other heroes basically get together. Oh my god, I said basically again. Anyways, they get together, they talk about the problem at hand. All Might finds out from All For One that Izuku Midoriya is the next owner or the successor of All For One, and he is now going to be in charge of the entire villain organization in Japan. And Deku knows from all the years he's actually spent with All Might, he knows who he's actually going to give One For All to. So instead of actually waiting for Mirio to actually get One For All, he's just going to kill Mirio off. So he does kill Mirio off. He does attack Night Eye's agency, killing everyone inside of it, including Night Eye. Night Eye didn't see this coming because he wasn't actually invited to the meeting. He was going to go to the meeting, but something really important happened with the overall research and investigation that he was doing, so he couldn't really go there. But that was really bad. He should have gone there with his assistant or Mirio, and if he didn't, I mean he didn't, so they got attacked by All For One, which is Deku now. Now after that, basically the entire world was plunged into chaos. The hero rating or the villain rating in the country raised up to like 15%, 20% actually, back to 20%, including the rest of the world. It was already at 20% villain rating, but in Japan it was 6% because All Might used to live there, or is living there. So it's 6%, but when All For One and All Might has also retired, actually he hasn't retired, he still has One For All. And he just hasn't given his One For All to anyone. He still has like tiny sparks of it, and with those tiny sparks he can actually give it to someone. But if he goes all out, just like he did with All For One in the one-on-one fight that they had, he's not gonna have One For All anymore, and it's probably gonna be disappeared for the entirety and never exist anymore. And some of you were actually saying that, oh, why doesn't Deku take One For All? Well, it's because All For One naturally isn't allowed to like take One For All. One For All is the only quirk that All For One can't take because of the creation thing. But an All For One user, not the All For One user, One For All user can give it to someone who has All For One. So it's kind of weird, but All For One can't take One For All, but One For All can give itself to All For One. If the owner decides it to be a good choice, he does give it to him. So I just wanted to explain that that's not gonna happen right now, because right now, no, it's never gonna happen. It's probably not gonna happen unless you want me to basically, oh my god, I said basically again. If you want me to make that happen into the story, you can just comment down in the comments below and let me know. Actually, let's change the rating of the villains inside of the country. Let's make it 15%. Everybody just witnessed One For All or All Might basically fighting One For All in the video, and they know All Might probably won't be able to fight like his former glory. So people are starting to have less and less faith in heroes. Villain sites are going up, like cult sites for their own villain organization, like Overhaul. He actually created his own site to basically raise money for his awareness to create the drug that can destroy and break quirks. He does that, and Deku and Overhaul actually do a team up because Deku actually tricks him by lying. He's like, oh, I have the quirk to take people's quirks, and my goal is to take as many people's quirk or everybody's quirk, and then die with all of these quirks inside of me. He's just lying this, but he's like, this is my plan to take away quirks from everyone. And he basically wins Overhaul over because his quirk, or Overhaul thinks that his quirk is really useful. So they have like this little exchange. Overhaul does give him the temporary quirk reversal medicine or recipe, but it's only temporary. And then all for one is like, okay, I'll have this and you can take this doctor. It's the same doctor that helped All for One recover and all that stuff. So he gives him the doctor and says, doctor, he is one of the smartest people in this country and he helped me recover, or help my previous owner of this quirk recover, and he should be able to help you with your research. And Overhaul agrees, like, okay, cheers to a good friendship. And they do that, all that stuff. Deku basically leaves with a really big smile on his face, and he's like, finally, when this quirk serum comes to me, I will take control of the entire world. So if you guys do not know which or what is Deku's ulterior motive, his motive is basically to release everyone in the jail cell or the prison or the all prison villain prison. I don't know what it's called, but he's basically a prison breaking arc. He does want to do that, and basically releasing every single villain in that prison, and basically increasing Japan's villain population to at least let's say, what would that be? I would say it would go up to 30%, probably the highest in from every single country. Not from every single country, then every single country. So yeah, so actually now let's get to the story, and I probably will have to basically go over 10 minutes, but it's cool. So let's go back to where All Might is basically punching the wall. He's like, damn it, Night Eye didn't have to die, young Mirio didn't have to die. And basically after that, Gran Torino explains that, okay, now you have to stop thinking of Tomura Shigaraki as a hero, or master's grandson. You have to think of him as a villain, because that's going to be dangerous. And the student that you had in UA, which is Izuku Midoriya, he was the traitor. You have to realize that and stop denying the truth. And All Might's like, I understand. And basically right now the heroes are just trying to reduce the villain activity in the city, or not in the city but in the country, because they can't really do anything. They don't know the hideout of Deku or Overhaul, whatever they are. And basically after that, the meeting between Overhaul and Deku, they're actually planning a mass attack on heroes. So basically going around the prison, because that's where the hero population is, because Gran Torino and every other experienced hero or pro hero basically said that they'll probably be targeting the villain prison and basically going for a prison break, because that will basically increase the villain activity to about 30% or maybe even 40%. But Gran Torino, in his heart, he also knows that that's going to be an even bigger target, because there are a lot of villains out there just want to killing heroes, and basically putting a lot of heroes at the prison and guarding it will attract more villains. But then he's like, oh, it's going to be alright, because as long as the prison's safe and there's no more villains out in the streets, it's all going to be good, even if we have to go all out to taking all these villains. Then in the underground, Overhaul and all the top tier villain organizations like the Yakuza, different types of Yakuza, they basically create a union, or basically entire government type of sort of the villain organization. So there are like top three villain organizations that basically rule over every other villain organization, which is Deku's organization because of his quirk. It's one of the smallest ones. Deku's villain organization is one of the smallest ones, but it's really important because his quirk is amazing. That is exactly the reason why he's on the top 3. So it's one for all, that is what the villain or the League of Villains, that's what it's called. And then there is Overhaul's Yakuza group, and there's a different type of Yakuza group, but we don't really care about that. But there are 3 main villain groups that look over every single villain organization, and they have really big authority. So they're planning this entire army massacre, or not massacre, but attack on the heroes and the prison, and today is the day that they attack them. And the prison is completely surrounded by heroes. It's all covered with heroes, and they're basically on guard. There's like tents all around the prison because villains are going on and off of shifts, and it's really hectic. So basically everybody just sees like this like dark shadow, and it's basically Overhaul's quirk. He's manipulating and basically destroying and manipulating the ground, the city, and everything. And by the way, there's this like ring area around the prism that is completely vacant. There's no civilians, only heroes, and that's all. Policemen, that's all there's there. There's no civilians there, and that is exactly where the fight is gonna happen, or the war. So the attack happens. The hero that is basically in charge of that area or operation on that day basically notifies everyone. This is warning red or red 1 alert. Villain army attacking the area. All the heroes across the country are coming over there because that prison is the main prison of the entire country. That is exactly where the villains go, or like top ranked villains, and the most villains in that prism are in this prism. So this is like the main branch of prisms, and there are still heroes across the country, but there's a huge collection of heroes there because that is the biggest target, and Gran Torino and other experienced heroes across the world said that that will be their first target, so increase security over there. And by the way, if you don't know how to imagine this prism, just think of this as a giant skyscraper, like a really giant skyscraper, which is really made out of solid material. There's no glass, there's no windows, it's just this giant pillar. And basically Overhaul's ability allows him to destroy and recreate things that he touches. He does that, and the teleportation hero or the villain basically teleports him to the base of the building, completely touching the base of the building and reconstructing it into a giant hole for the building to completely fall through. So the building is completely gone. There's just this giant crater on the ground where the building was, and the building is actually going through like a tunneling system that was created by Deku and other leader of one of the 3 biggest gangs, if you can call it gangs, or villain organizations. And they created this giant tunnel, which basically the prism like swims or slides down and across and lands outside of the area, and then it completely deconstructs and breaks, and all the villains are free. Then Deku releases a sound wave, which is one of the quirks that he got, and he sends a message, or this is the telepathic quirk that he got from the forest training camp, and he telepathically communicates to every single villain out there. It takes a lot out of him, but it's still Deku. He's really good at it. And he basically tells everyone through telepathically, okay, we have an organization, everything, all the hierarchy and all that stuff, and our plan today, and we need to destroy and kill all the villains here today. And everybody's like, yeah! And they have this like war cry, and they start running towards them. They basically release the handcuffs and everything that restrain their quirks. I'm pretty sure there are handcuffs or materials in this world that restrain quirks. But yeah, they basically do that, and they can use their quirk now, and there's massive chaos, massive destruction, and the area is completely destroyed after a few hours of fighting. And All Might and everyone else arrive, the top heroes across the world. They arrive to solve this problem. Actually, not across the world, because everyone has their own problems to deal with, because right now they have it worse in Japan, but in other countries they've had worse situations previously in other countries, and All Might wasn't there to help them. So they had to find a way to deal with that. So they have to deal with their own stuff and issues. So top tier heroes that are in Japan, they arrive at that situation or that emergency area to fight the villains. And I'm gonna leave it at that cliffhanger. Hope you guys like, because it really does help the channel out. Subscribe to join the family, and there's not gonna be a video after this. I'm sorry guys, I'm slacking a little, but I'm probably gonna upload on the weekends. I hope you guys can understand, and hit the bell icon for my future videos. And as always, Anime Junkie out.